for the Half-Ass Podcast. And I have a very special guest for you guys. We're going to get right into the shits. Got a very special guest. You guys might know him as Marshall Mathers the Fourth on YouTube and on Instagram, I believe, right? Or do you go by different on Instagram?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so we have Marshall Mathers the Fourth. Boy, do I have tons of questions after watching your videos on YouTube. Holy shit. I believe I'm probably the only black person that will probably be able to sit down and have an actual conversation with you after watching the videos that you've posted. I got tons of shit. But I want to start off with, have you had any success from those YouTube videos?
Not really. I mean, I do get hundreds of views or thousands at the most on a few of my videos that are like really popular topics. But, I mean, I've never really had any outstanding amount of success from them. But, I mean, I just kind of do it as a way to, like, vent, get myself out there and see if other people can relate and connect with what I'm saying or whatever, if they have anything in common or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So, because you are, I wouldn't say you're famous, but you are well known, at least throughout the country, at least nationwide. I've seen memes of you. I've seen videos of you. I was like, wow. I was like, this is crazy. So then I started watching some of your videos, and I was like, holy shit. I definitely want to ask this guy a few questions.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about your upbringing a little bit and what kind of led you to this whole string of videos?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could definitely. Well, I was born in Princeton, New Jersey on February 12, 1997, and I spent like the first 6 to 8 months after my birth in that place, and the same year my parents had moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we had only lived there from like late 97 to 2001, maybe a little bit of 2002, until we moved to the country in like the Montcalm area or whatever of Greenville, and kind of on the outskirts a bit of Greenville or whatever. And then from there, we lived there to like 2002 to 2012, like August of 2012, we moved to the city of Greenville because my dad couldn't afford or pay off the house that he had bought because he took like a loan out from the bank or whatever. And then I pretty much went to school, like high school, when we moved to the city of Greenville, and pretty much since we moved to Greenville, before we moved back to the country, but a different country in a totally different area, I had this really strong desire and just longing and whatnot to have experience living in the hood or whatever, if you will, and what that would have been like for me and how that would have been and how I would have felt being brought up in that sort of environment instead of the country or whatever. And that desire started when we moved to Greenville, the city of Greenville in Michigan. And then also, of course, when I got really into hip-hop rap and really obsessed with that music, just so into it, so addicted to it. And like ever since like listening to Eminem and whatnot, and then a bunch of other rappers afterwards, and I just got like so much into that music, and so like inspired and influenced by it, I kind of was like even drawn to that sort of lifestyle. And I thought, especially as a teen, I mean, that's cool or that's dope or whatever. I mean, I wish I would have had that chance to live that. And I mean, I can kind of understand why it would probably be disrespectful to, I guess, some people who actually have, because it's a struggle. There's a lot of suffering and lots of pain and whatnot in that sort of environment.
And Marshall, we're going to get to that. But do you have a better place you can go so we can hear you a little bit more clearly through the audio?
Not really. I mean, there's really hardly any sort of private in our house we have, and kind of like also soundproof. I wish there was, because I bet other people can hear me, but whatever. But,
could you go outside or anything, or?
I mean, I probably could, but the internet would probably not work.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we are going to get to the hood part and the ghetto part, because those are my main questions. But
for sure.
I do want to go down to where in one of your videos, I believe it was in the reasons that there are ghettos, and one of those videos you mentioned that your dad makes six figures.
Yeah.
So, like, do you live with him, or what's the deal with that?
I do live with him, as well as a lot of other siblings of mine, and most of my siblings and I still live with our parents. There's really only been I have an older half sister on my mom's side, and then I have a sister, and both of them moved out years ago. And they're the only two that.
So how do you not have your normal essentials, such as a laptop or a better phone or something like that? Since your dad does make six figures. I mean, I'm not saying handouts or anything like that, but I mean, you would think,
I get what you're saying. It's pretty much because, well, I mean, it's kind of a long story, but when I started going to high school in 9th grade, many years ago in 2012, I saw a lot of students who had just. It's funny because they were way more privileged than me, even though I knew that they probably, their parents and whatnot, probably had, less income or whatever than my dad. But at the same time, they probably had less children. And, I mean, even a lot of parents or people, even with six income figure jobs, don't usually or normally have that many kids. And, I mean, my parents just chose to have 8 kids in all, and I guess I don't really know why, but anyway, the students that I went to high school with, they were just really spoiled, and that really affected me emotionally and mentally. So I eventually dropped out, but it's also because I got picked on and bullied, and then when I dropped out, I pretty much just kind of fell into a really dark place, to the point where I just did not want to do anything. Even simple things such as get my driver's license, do driver's training, even try to get a job. I mean, I did kind of, but not most people would. I didn't really try to get a job. Just try to live it. And I didn't really have that strong desire or motivation to really get a job or what.
So how does that lead to to answer the question though, are you saying that you kind of strayed away from your dad then, the one that makes the six figures, or?
I would definitely say that, and because he has so many kids. I mean, if he had even wanted to get me some things or whatever, it would have only been fair if he would have done the same for my other siblings, which would have made it a lot more difficult, knowing that, I mean, he would feel bad or whatever. So he would probably, if anything, try to get them all the same thing or something similar, and I mean, it would just be crazy.
Yeah. So I'm going to move into actual topic now. And this, and you obviously spoke on it earlier about it, but I want to talk about the very first video that actually led me to watching your videos was the video of the reasons there are ghettos. there's a bullet point in there that I had to make. I had to take a note of it, of the relationship between the Freemasons and Black people. That really interested me. Do you want to elaborate more on what have your opinions changed on the relationship between the Freemasons and Black people?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think that I probably was wrong in that video, but I do think that it at least, I feel, was probably, if not Masons or whatever, say corrupt, evil politicians or whatever in power that, yeah, exactly, that have the power and have the money and all that shit to place stores that have guns and have drugs and have alcohol or whatever in places that are already very impoverished, deprived, underprivileged, very oppressed places. And I mean, I think any of those corrupt people know deep down inside that mistake that's gonna lead to like destruction or whatever. But since they're evil and corrupt and all they really is money and like ruining people's lives, they're gonna be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked that is because your platform, I mean, your platform, my platform is not as big as yours, but have you said what you just said to me just now on your platform? Have you said that on your YouTube? That, hey, what I said in that video was wrong. Like what I said with that video was, and I wouldn't even say you were completely wrong. I would just say putting the Freemasons name out there is a very dangerous thing when you're accusing them of something like this, stuff like that. Yeah. Because I can tell you, I can tell you. I don't know too much about the Freemasons, but I know that my co-host and I, he's not here right now, but my co-host and I, James, we had an entire episode about it where we were talking about how Freemasons and stuff like Bohemian, like you can't just accuse people of that and just put it out there, especially having the numbers that you have, and still your numbers aren't super high either, but I mean you still have 1,000 subscribers, so you're on YouTube's radar somewhat, even even on a small scale. And putting the Freemasons name out there, like were you able to apologize on your channel?
No, but I plan to make a video talking about like something along the lines of that. And I mean, I believe that I've seen people say that instead of them, it could have probably been like liberal politicians or something like that. And I mean, I think really, in my opinion, that really it doesn't matter which party it is, because I feel deep down inside that both politicians, both parties really only care about themselves, money, power, control, New World Order.
It's all run by the same people.
Yeah, exactly. I feel they all work hand in hand behind closed doors, but on the outside they put on this show to try to divide people and say, like, act as if they have people's best interests and like, oh, no, we care about you more, like whether they're conservatives or liberals or whatever. I feel like, anyway.
Because I actually saw that, I didn't watch the video, but I saw one of your videos were titled "Why Are We So Divided?" I think it's called, or they're trying to divide us or something like that. And I was like, that's where I thought you were going when I was watching one of your other videos where you mentioned that both parties are under it, because I'm not. I was like, thank God that me and my friends, like my own little small circle of boys, we think, at least most of us, we think that that's what it is. That Republicans, Democrats are all under the same umbrella, which they are. I believe they are. And I know I'm not the only one, and it's good to see another person who doesn't think they are either. Like, cause there are some things when I watched you, and I just found out about you yesterday. I don't know if I can shout out Joe Trump, but Joe Trump got me in contact with you.
Oh yeah, cool.
So he, are you familiar with RevX, by the way?
I don't know if I am.
Do you know? But do you know Joe Trump personally?
No, I don't. He's just an online friend. Yeah, we've been talking for a while. I've known him for like at least probably a year. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know Joe Trump through the RevX stuff. So I want to give him a little shout out too. But yeah, I just found out about you yesterday, and I was like, I was watching your videos, and I was like there most of the time I'm like, this guy's completely fucking insane. But then there's there's like a small part in every video that I watch where I'm like, this guy is actually on to something. Like he's talking about something that's real that I don't think people really necessarily pay attention to. The what he's saying, because people automatically think, okay, he's insane.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the rest or don't watch the rest. But I'm a guy that I like to watch the video entirely. I like to watch something, and once I start, I need to finish it, and that's the way I am. So like with every video, well, almost every video, some videos I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But most videos I watched, and I'm like, okay, I have to rewind that again because I have to go back to this part because he said that, and that whole Democrat and Republic thing, like that was, I was shocked it came from you. I was like, holy shit, like this guy, he knows. Yeah, I thought that's awesome. Because like my first thought when I saw your page and after I watched the first video, I'm like, I can see why people watch, but I'm like, how the fuck did this guy get 1,000? Like, how did 1,000 people literally went out of their way to want to be notified every time you post a video?
Yeah.
And that is crazy to me.
Yeah,
and
I think. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. You good, go.
Oh, okay. I think part of the reason. Have you ever heard of a YouTuber by the name of Bass Shaman?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about him. If you're going to mention him, I'm going to ask you a question about him. And actually, you know, we can talk about him right now. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah. Bass Shaman. Yeah.
So back in 2017, he had actually started reviewing my videos, and when he used to review my videos, he was like bashing me because I had some really controversial videos that I deleted, but trolls on YouTube and whatnot re-uploaded them so they can make me look bad and titled them something completely different than what I originally titled them.
I saw some of those videos too, and I was like, whoa. Yeah.
He was bashing me at first, and this one person came on my channel one day and said, like, yo, this YouTuber is, like, talking shit about you. One of my subscribers who, like, had my back or whatever. And then I was like, okay. So he told me to look him up or whatever, so I did. And he was doing, like, a live video about me one time. And I just went off in the live, like, at him and, like, all his subscribers, like, for some time. I can't remember how long. And then I eventually went away because I wanted to just de-stress, and I was like totally stressed out. And so I went away for a while, and then I came back and I saw that what surprised me, because usually this would never happen. He felt bad about doing my videos like without my permission and like whatever, talking all this shit about me and whatnot, including.
I don't mean to cut you off, but is Bass Shaman the guy from the UK that went on a rant about you in his car?
No, that's a troll. Yeah, he's just
because that guy. I think I watched the video of his as well, and he was under the title or under the name called Another Channel, and he's the guy with the English accent, and while he's driving, he's ranting about you, and he's like getting mad at you about copyright, saying that you copyright, saying that you're using and you've stolen identities from people, and that you've gained fans. You gained basically a whole fandom of people off of the name.
Oh yeah.
The real Marshall Mathers.
Oh yeah.
Is he accurate in that? Like, do you owe like him? Because he said in the video he says you owe me $100 in copyright rights or some shit.
And I'm just
did you eventually pay him? Did you pay his ass?
No. He's definitely a troll. He's just trying to get attention, and I definitely feel like he's probably, if anything, just probably a bit jealous and envious about the amount that I have. And I mean, I don't really think he's mad because if you watch a lot of his other videos, you can definitely tell he's a troll and just saying some really just funny, stupid shit, but in a serious way that makes people realize, okay, this guy's obviously a troll. He's just doing this for like attention or whatever, and talking about how he's gonna like own YouTube someday and or whatever. Just this really crazy, bizarre stuff that is probably never gonna happen. And I mean, I did choose to make my YouTube channel name I chose because, well, one thing, my main idol is Eminem, and he's my biggest influence and inspiration. But I didn't want to like completely copy his name, so instead of doing Marshall Mathers III, which is his real name, but his full name is Marshall Bruce Mathers III, and so I'm like, well, I'll just do Marshall Mathers IV, implying like I'm his son or something, as kind of like a joke. But
also, I'm going to title this video to get more views. Marshall Mathers, interview with Marshall Mathers' son or something like that.
Yeah. Also get more popularity into, mainly as a joke, but if people think that I am, obviously, I'll tell them that I'm not, and I kind of just do this for a joke and just to try to increase in popularity, because I've seen other people's accounts, even if they don't have channels, who will like have celebrity names as their YouTube profiles, or presidents' names, or politicians' names, or so they, as if they're like gaining more popularity off of that, or people pretending to be like the FBI something, or something big like that.
Because coming from a former troll myself, that when now in this day and age, it's very telling of how much trouble you can get in for using someone else's name. Just crazy. I just watched a documentary on Netflix last weekend about how this dude was like taking identity from identity, and he was getting away with like all kinds of stuff, like all over the world, and then they eventually got caught in like Paris or somewhere. But it's just trolling is. I mean, some people take trolling too far, and that's why I'm like, oh man, I gotta stop because like people might take it as one thing, and then it like ricochets, and something else happens, and then it all goes back to me just trolling, just being a normal troll, and then somebody takes it out of proportion, or somebody takes it, I can be like, oh, your music sucks, and then it turns out, the artist ends up fucking committing suicide or some shit, and then they're like, oh, well, this person or that person, we're saying, all these people were saying that they sucked just to be a troll, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot of shit out of nothing. But so back to Big Shaman. This guy tried to pretty much what's the word for it that I learned from one of my guests, good friend of my larger podcast, Contemporary Comrades, Nikki Fisher. She stated at one point, she said that damn, what did she say about I forgot what she said, but about doxing, the term doxing, that's what it is. Where they try and pretty much dox your name. Is that what Big Shaman was trying to do? Was he trying to like literally just dox your name? Was he trying to like get rid of the Marshall Mathers IV YouTube page?
No. At the time, I think I had my real name as my YouTube channel, and he wasn't trying to like get rid of that name. He was just simply trying to like bash me because of those controversial videos I made, and make fun of me and whatnot, and just kind of have a good laugh over it or whatever. And some people doxed me, like some trolls and whatnot, on this website. But then, so when he felt bad when I came back to his live, he had ended the video that he was doing of me, and he felt bad about it. And I saw that he was like talking to his viewers still during the live, and he was saying that, like he was trying to tell them that we probably are hurting his feelings and we probably shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done this, without like really getting to know him personally or whatever, or what he's about, or something like that. And then I kind of felt bad because when he felt bad, I kind of felt bad for like going out of control or whatever. And so I went back and I apologized. And then from then on, we became friends. And then he would like ask me if he could like review just certain videos of mine, like ones that he would like the most or be interested in the most. So he would. And then I would get like a lot more subscribers from that. And usually just a few here and there. I didn't really gain too many subscribers because, I mean, a lot of my videos were negative or whatever, or harsh, controversial or whatever, or insane. And so I would really just kind of rack in trolls. And I think a lot of my subscribers, even maybe who are still subscribed but can't comment because I probably blocked them or whatever and removed their comments over like years, are probably still subscribed so they can at least still dislike the video. Like as soon as it's uploaded, I'll get like a bunch of dislikes before I get like any amount of likes. And I feel like a bunch of my subscribers could possibly maybe be just trolls that are still subscribed, but who knows. And so he's pretty much the one to thank to why I have the certain amount that I do now. Because he has like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or millions now or something like that. And knowing that when he was doing it, he still had quite a bit. Like he had 50,000 or 60,000.
So basically, are you familiar with Daniel Tosh or the show Tosh.0?
Oh yeah, I've seen videos.
Okay, so is he basically that version of YouTube, like for YouTube?
Yeah, I think so.
Like when he just starts reviewing like web series and like web.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so this guy's basically okay. Yeah. So he's one of those then. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I mean, how would you say you and Bass Shaman's relationship is now? Are you guys on good terms?
Oh yeah, we've been good since 2 years ago, since 2017. And I mean, it didn't take long for us to kind of like put our differences aside or whatever, and we got a good friendship out of it or whatever. So yeah,
So is he the one? Is he the one that was like making videos about you being like, you know, like really serious, like bad shit?
Oh yeah, I mean he wouldn't really like bash me in a mean way, but just in kind of a make fun of, mocking way, and kind of like a harassing way, but in a funny way, pretty much.
Because I feel like, can we get into the more controversial stuff or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Into the controversial.
Definitely.
So is he the one that was like saying like, because I saw some video, whatever, but I saw some videos that were like, Marshall Mathers IV pedo and all this other shit. Right?
Yeah.
Is he the one that made those videos?
No, those videos are made by troll channels. If you go on those people's channels, you'll be able to see just kind of weird videos that those YouTubers upload, and you can definitely get the sense and feeling that those people, if anything, are trolls and nothing more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bass Shaman wasn't a part of that. He was just saying he was literally making fun of.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was about to say, I was like, I don't think anybody would be on good terms with someone who did shit like that and posted videos like that on YouTube about them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So have you tried getting those videos taken down? Like, have you tried contacting them or getting someone involved or getting YouTube people involved?
To be honest, and what sucks is YouTube doesn't even have a phone number to contact even the actual company. And
well, there's like FAQs on there. There's all kinds of videos on there on how to try and report other profiles.
Oh, I mean, I've actually tried to report so many of their videos. I've even got other people to try to do the same. And the problem is with YouTube and how it's been like since 2017, if you delete a video that you got a lot of like bad backlash for whatever reason, and you delete it, some other YouTuber could upload it and title it something completely different or the same and claim it as their video. And of course, the only way you could probably report it is if you download that video again and then re-upload it and maybe like put it on private or something, and then prove that it was like originally yours. Because if you delete a video, then it technically is that person's video, even if it is not actually them or whatever in the video. So,
but even with your YouTube name in it as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, even with my YouTube name in it, like YouTube, I don't think YouTube really even cares that much in it. I've been told by other friends of mine too online that YouTube will side with trolls. They'll be on their side more so than the person who's like being like harassed or bullied, or people who are painting someone in a bad light or something. YouTube will side with the harassers or whatever more so.
So would you consider yourself a troll?
No, I would not consider myself a troll. A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like they probably only do because of my channel name. Because, I mean, people probably just think that I'm only trying to get clout off of Eminem's name. But the thing is, I'm not using his actual like music channel name. I'm not using his stage name. And technically, I'm not even using his real actual name. And
yeah,
I'm not like uploading like any of his music videos or like trying to say like, oh, that I own the rights to any of his songs or anything like that. Like my videos aren't clickbait, and I'm not like whatever. If I were doing that, then I would probably get in trouble or whatever if I were like trying to like literally impersonate him and whatnot, which I'm not really trying to do. But I can definitely see why people consider me to be a troll. And I think
I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if he considers himself a troll.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, you know, people think it, like my friends, my close internet friends or whatever, think it's actually pretty cool that I chose to have that name, though, because that will help get more attention faster and quicker, because it's like, my name people think is like Eminem's real name, but they don't know that his real name is Marshall Bruce Mathers III instead of just Marshall Mathers IV.
But I mean, you can still. I mean, people can still get the notion of Marshall Mathers because nobody knows his middle name, and he doesn't advertise his middle name either.
Exactly.
It's not like J.K. the actor J.K. Simmons, and then people are like, oh, if you use John Simmons, which is like I guess or J. Simmons or something,
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. So so I do want to go to the next question, or to the next video, I should say, which is talking about wishing to be raised in the hood. I have quite a few points from that one. We'll start off with, after making not one, not just two, but 3 videos about wishing to be raised in the hood.
Yeah.
What went through your mind when making these videos? Were you just like, do I need to like air my grievances about this? Do I need to, like, what made you want to make 3 parts of this?
What made me want to make 3 parts? Well, one thing, my phone hardly has any gigabytes, so if I'm trying to make like a video that's a certain length, it will like stop automatically, and then I'll have to like delete it and start all over again. In like my videos, because I only have like, my phone's only like 16 gigabytes or something small like that, and there's like already some gigabytes taken up by pre-installed apps and a certain amount of photos I have on my phone. And then, so I can only make a video that's about 22, maybe 23 minutes long, so I can't really get like everything I want to say in like one video. And there was like a bunch of things that I wanted to say, and I felt like, oh, I'll just make it into 3 videos or 3 parts or whatever to really get like everything, every point across and every reason why I feel like I wish I would have had that experience and that opportunity or chance or whatever instead of the life that I had or the environment that I was raised in instead.
So, with this video, obviously, I'm sure you've gotten some bad, and we're going to get to some of the points that you were trying to some of your quotes in at least in the first video. I'm sure there has been probably a ton of feedback after making these videos. I'm sure you went pretty viral pretty fast after making the first video. What has been your feed? I'm pretty sure I have a guess of what your feedback majority is, but what has been some of the stuff that you've seen in terms of like comments and people saying stuff, people messaging you and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I do usually get maybe a couple or two, like 1 or 2, maybe a few at the most, comments of people who maybe like agree with me or would ask me like, oh, if you would have been raised in the hood or whatever, which one would you want to be in or whatever. But I would say most of the comments will be by people saying like, oh, you would have never survived and you would never make it, or people saying like, oh, those places are so dangerous and violent and whatnot. And what I'm simply trying to get people to understand is I'm not saying I would live that lifestyle now or even try to. What I'm saying is that I wish I would have experienced it since like birth or some age in my childhood or whatever up until now, that I would have been used to it and had experienced it for a long time. And when I'll say that to someone, then they'll more so understand. They're like, well, yeah, I guess if you would have had that opportunity, then maybe, yeah, had that opportunity, like since birth or since your childhood or something, up until this point in your life, at the age you are now. And that's pretty much it.
Well, I don't think you should probably wish that you would live in any hood, period. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit here and say I did, but I obviously, have family and I knew people that lived in it and stuff like that. But I feel like I know what you're trying to say, but I also feel like that you're saying it in a completely different way, in a completely wrong way. Because you're saying that you do have empathy for people that live in hoods.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. But let's not be mistaken that, because when I was watching some of your videos, I was like, black people aren't the only people that live in hoods.
I know.
Minorities aren't the only people that live in hoods. So like, be mindful of that when you're making videos. Also, one of your quotes that you said was that it makes you a tougher person. And I don't think, actually I know for a fact, it doesn't make you a tougher person of the environment you grew up in. I believe the way you were raised, the 2 people or the 1 person in your home that was your guardian or that was your parent that raised you, I think everything you go through in life, and not even them, not even your parents, but just everything you go through in life, I feel like it's something that makes you tougher. I don't think your environment. Now,
Yeah.
Some may argue, because I've heard it from people that come from the too, where they say, oh, it might not, affect it, but it does make you become tougher faster. Which I saw one comment say that about you, where they were like, well, he's not wrong, because it may not, while it may not be the only place that makes you tougher, it makes
Yeah.
you tougher. It makes you tough faster, a lot faster, and a lot younger. And to that,
Yeah.
I'll say again, it's all about personal experiences too, in anyone's
Or
life, whether you're in the hood or not in the hood. Um,
yeah.
because you're not the only person that I've heard. You're definitely the only person I've ever heard say, "Oh, I wish I lived in the hood." But you're not the only out loud. You're not the only person
No.
you're not the only white person I know, or hell, non-black person that I know that has tried to have a certain persona, but you don't even have. It's not like you're trying to have that persona. You're just coming out
No.
and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I wish I grew up. I wish I was born in the hood. I wish I was raised in the hood."
Yeah.
You're not the only. You're the only person I've heard verbally say that. I've
Oh, okay.
seen so many people try and put on the persona as if they are from it, and they couldn't even survive a fist fight. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen people from the hood. I've gotten confrontations with people from the hood that also can't fight. Um,
Well,
so and not saying that tough like physically. That's not the only kind of tough that you mean or anything like that. I know you mean
yeah.
like mentally, emotionally, all of that.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I know people from the hood that
Yeah.
are none of those things. They're not tough. So
Wow.
I don't think it's something that just because you're from geographically you come from somewhere, or
Oh yeah.
demographically you're coming from this demographic, then you're automatically tough. I mean, because that's just like saying, oh, all I don't know.
Oh
Let me think of one. Like all black dudes have big dicks or some shit like that, right? This
yeah.
one does, but that doesn't mean that all of them do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that's a stereotypical thing. So
Yeah.
from an upcoming YouTuber to another established. How long have you been posting videos now? You're pretty
2 years,
established though,
something like that.
right? How long?
2 years, about 2 years.
Okay. Um. Yeah. You've been a YouTuber for over 2 years. I've only been a YouTuber for uh at least doing like videos like this, like interviews and stuff like this,
Oh
months, not
yeah.
even a year yet. Um. And
Interesting.
just be mindful of what you post, and be mindful, especially with the title. Like, I know you got to do what you got to do with the title and try and make it appealing for people to click on it, because once you get that click, it doesn't matter how long they stay, as long as you get that click.
Yeah.
I get it. um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but at the same time, you got to be mindful, because that stuff, one day that stuff can come back and bite you in the ass. You got
Well,
to be mindful of every fucking thing you say,
yeah.
especially nowadays, because people losing their jobs now, people losing their livelihoods,
Right.
everything they work for, because of one stupid comment they made 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. It's
but
crazy.
uh, yeah, I did want to touch on that whole tough thing, because this is only my own personal opinion and my own personal experience with people that are from the hood and people that aren't from the hood. I have more experience with people that aren't, but I have a lot of experience with people that are and that were from the hood as well,
Oh
um,
yeah.
including family members. I mean, including family members. So
Mm.
it's not something to say, oh, I wish, because from what I watched in the video, is basically you're saying you feel bad for people that are from the hood, but also they're some of the most tough people probably you ever met, or that you probably heard about or seen or whatever.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that are actually from the hood?
None, to be honest.
Okay,
I mean,
okay. So there goes that point about making videos. You know what I mean? Making videos
yeah.
about, oh, I wish I was, because that's like me saying, oh, I wish I was from Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't really know about Ireland. If I don't really know any real Irish people, like people that are actually from Ireland. So for me to say, oh, I just wish I was from, I can say I wish I could go to Ireland, But then again, you don't ever hear anybody say, "Oh, I wish I could go to the hood." Like, you want to go strolling in the hood on a Sunday afternoon, let's say about 3 o'clock, just strolling, windows down, chilling, going about 2 miles an hour in your whip. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, just be mindful, man. Just be mindful about that kind of stuff, because you never know. You never know. As bad of a situation you could be in, you could be, or that anyone's in, it could be 10 times worse, especially coming from the hood. Like, you don't want. Trust me when I tell you, you don't want that. Now another point I wanted to make, or another quote from your video, from the same video, where you said Catholics don't live there because they want safe neighborhoods. Where did that come from?
Wait, what's Catholics?
Yeah, you said you were talking about Catholics.
Oh, I think I said something like, I may have said Christians or something, or white people.
You said Christian. You said like Christian Catholics. You said were.
I think I was talking about my parents, because my parents are pretty strong, firm, extreme religious Christian Catholic people, and I was trying to make the point that my parents would not have wanted to live there, because not only because of that, but because of the fact that they had a certain amount of kids that I get, and it makes sense that they would want a whatever calm and peaceful environment for us to be raised in, and away from danger, violence, or crime or whatever, and also the fact that they're not about that life themselves. They don't have any interest or fascination or longing or anything like that, for that matter, about that sort of life, unlike I do myself. And because of a buildup of certain things. But I mean, unless my dad had, say, gotten a job there or something, or in an area like that, and he just had no other choice, he would have probably settled there. But other than that, there would have been no way.
Okay, so, all right, so, again, this is another point that I'm trying to make about this, is that, how do I put this? Okay, so it's not about being like, oh, income based, or my parents. Like, no one should ever want to live there. No one should ever want to live in, and I wouldn't even say all hoods are poverty or anything like that, but like, from what you were saying of how they set people up in the hood, which you're not off on that either. Like, you're not wrong on that, at least, of how companies and the government specifically sets up those areas of being in the hood, and sets up the people that live in them, and they actually, this is a whole predetermined thing, at least to me. And don't, I'm gonna, like, the whole thing to me is that they're like, oh, okay, you guys are free now, but you're not gonna live where we live. Like, you're not gonna. But I mean, yeah, it's been what, a little over 50 years now, to where we've had to where we've kind of shut that down, to where we are living in the same neighborhoods as white people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think, again, just be mindful. You got to be mindful of that, and like comments like that, to where it's like, oh, my parents didn't want to live. Well, nobody wants to live there. Not just your parents. Nobody wants to, fear for any kind of safety or anything like that. Because when I was watching your video, you were saying that, because you're constantly fighting for your life, you're constantly walking around with fear and stuff like that. Like, you don't want that. Nobody wakes up and says, "Oh, I wish I had that." That's the part where you lost me. So, do you still feel that way? And don't let me deter anything from what you're saying. But like, do you still feel that way? Do you still feel as if you want to have, like, you want to be, you wish you were raised in the hood?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this makes any sense, and I don't really know any really good way to put it. And I'm really bad at explaining things, but I mean, I myself would have liked at least some things about it. Like, I think there are some valuable things and lessons to learn, whether you're a guy or a girl. And I mean, I don't think anyone should ever have to experience that life. And I mean, like you said, I don't think anyone would want to. But I mean, it's kind of crazy that anyone would live there if nobody really wants to. And I mean, it's also, I guess, sad that anyone does live there in those circumstances or whatever. And also, I think some other things that are good about it. I mean, there are communities and there are friends and whatnot, and I think that's a good thing, even if they're not the best of people or whatever, to hang out with, be around. I mean, it's still somewhat of a community, somewhat of a family, a group, friends, or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, I've seen other videos of like actual gangsters and whatnot talking about how the hood like used to be, like originally before there was any sort of bad stuff put in the hood, whether that be guns, drugs, alcohol, or whatever. He was talking about how it used to be
but that
about.
stuff's always been there.
Yeah, I guess so. Like he was talking about how it used to just be like gatherings, cookouts every day, friends, family, and like just a good time.
So now, so you're not so now you're talking about that, right? And you're saying you wish you're raised in that. That's your idea of that you're raised in, right? Of what you think of what you. So why didn't you put that in your video? Of like, how come you didn't put that in your video saying, I wish I was just lived in a black community, or I wish that I had like a tight knit family. Like, I mean, do you have a tight knit family? Do you have a close family like that? Is your family close?
To be honest, I would say not really that much. To be honest,
So,
I mean,
so is that what kind of spouted out, like what kind of spouted out the idea of I wish I grew up, I wish I was raised in the hood, I wish I was raised instead. I mean, because from what it seems like to me is that it should be more of a I wish either I wish I had a tight knit family, I wish I had a close family, or I wish that I grew up in a tight knit community or a black community.
yeah.
Which even then, I wouldn't say like any community is necessarily different in terms of closeness, because even a black community isn't really that together, you know.
Yeah, and I will say there is one other reason why, like for example, why I wish I would have been raised in like Chicago or whatever, if this makes any sense. And I mean, like I said, it's kind of a buildup of things, starting with hip hop, rap, and then and just, I mean, of course, as everyone knows, rappers kind of, and of course movies do too, they kind of glamorize that life, but they do it in a way where it makes it seem like they just pretty much show like the cool stuff about it and the fun, exciting, adventurous sort of stuff about it. They don't really show like the whole picture or whatever. And anyway, I definitely think that's a reason why I have that sort of, I guess, longing, which is weird, strange, or whatever, because obviously I really don't know that much about it. But one of the recent reasons why, like, I wish I would have been born in Chicago or something like that is because, I mean, I don't know if this makes sense, and it may come out as weird or whatever, bizarre thing, but
Oh, you've already done
heard
that.
Yeah, I know. But have you heard of the tragic case of 2 years
Kenneka
ago?
Jenkins?
Yeah,
You talking about Kenneka
I'm.
Jenkins? I wanted to get to you about that, about Kenneka Jenkins, because I had no idea who the fuck that was. And then I clicked on your video because I kept seeing that video, RIP Kenneka Jenkins, and I thought it was like someone you actually knew. And this is where I was
Oh,
like, what the fuck? This is the last part of this part one of this interview, because I really want to touch on
oh,
this with you as well. So I click on your video. I'm like, who the fuck is Kenneka Jenkins? So I didn't even Google or anything like that because I was like, it's probably like some local chick he knew at high school or something like that. So I clicked on
oh,
your video.
yeah.
I went ahead. I clicked on the video, and I'm sitting there watching, and you're saying like, RIP, true legend, blah, 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 in Chicago. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy lives in Chicago. Maybe this guy, is from Chicago or whatever. Because I saw snow in one of your videos, so I was like, makes sense, Chicago, whatever. But it turns out, you don't live in Chicago, and that you were saying that you wish you lived in Chicago, so that, so you pretty much, this is where it really kind of, like, I kind of, like, got lost a lot
Oh,
after this, where literally you said that, you wish, now, before I get to this, for the people that are watching this,
oh, yeah.
Kenneka Jenkins, 2 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, Isaac, or Marshall, sorry.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but so basically she got drunk one night, right? And I guess she was, supposedly drugged, I think,
Yeah.
maybe. And then
Yeah.
she walked into a hotel freezer with the door open and I guess face planted into the floor and froze to death.
Well, apparently the story is she walked in there, opened it while drunk and intoxicated, and then closed it. But I mean, I believe, if anything, that she was murdered because, I mean, the timestamps are edited in the surveillance footage. There's time jumps, and it was a double steel door to the walk-in freezer, and I mean, you would need some strength to open something like that unless somebody else was like there or whatever. And I mean, there's just a lot of things that are really eerie and just don't add up about the case. But anyway, so that's pretty much.
So why 2 years later make a video about Kenneka Jenkins? Because you said in the video at the beginning you said you were saying things like you wish you met her.
Yeah.
And you wish that you could marry her.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, so like, what did you mean? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, I've kind of gotten a late start on the whole case, and I only found out about it because there was this guy's channel. I think his channel is called That Chapter or something, and he does like all these videos about like cases or mysterious cases of people and scary videos or whatever, or scary photos or whatever. And he did one about her recently, just last month in November, and I was kind of like, and the video was recommended for me as well as his channel because I do watch similar videos to that sort of thing, and so I clicked on the video, and then I found out like I kind of like, well, why did he do a video about it 2 years later? I guess he just wanted to maybe do it on the 2-year anniversary, and I was kind of shocked. Wow, like I just found out about this, and I found out like as the case was so big, it blew up really fast, especially when it happened.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, and so yeah, I just got kind of a late start on the whole case and what happened to her, and I was just like, damn. Like, really.
It's just, but the reason why it's weird to me is because it's like, okay, this happened like 2 years ago. I didn't even hear about this at all until watching the video. So, I mean, if anything, that's done, I mean, and I know that I've gotten people that have told me about how when they listen to my podcast with my bros, on contemporary comrades, and even the ones that I do with James here on Half Ass, where they'll say, "Wow, we didn't know that happened." Like James and I, we did a topic a little over a couple months ago about like a killer water slide or something like that, and like I had like 4 people like message me like, "Hey, wow, we didn't know there was this happened, and this happened like a couple years or so ago." So I mean, it works. Whatever you bringing this story up because and then after your video, I went to go to Google. Obviously I have to fact check everything like that. So I went to Google and I'm reading these articles and I'm like, holy shit, everything's from like 2007. Maybe I think the latest one that I saw was like April of 2018. But I was like, 2017 was like, it was 2017, 2017, 2017. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is old. But I mean, it got you views. It got you. And it got people aware too, I guess. Especially with what you were talking about of how you thought it was a setup, and believe me, I love. I mean, that's what I do is I open up. I won't say open up cases, but I would open up things that have happened in the past or occurring events and stuff like that, and I would say like, hey, look, this is some kind of. I hate to overuse the word conspiracy, but this is some kind of conspiracy. This is a theory. This is something that's going on to where the government is telling us right in front of our eyes what they're doing to us, especially certain people, and it's just like, what the fuck? But we're going to continue this on part 2 that we're going to do on IG Live that is eventually going to go to YouTube, hopefully. Again, I'm going to try and get this one uploaded to YouTube. But to all the half-assers that are watching this, hopefully it will eventually watching this on YouTube. There is going to be a part 2, so go ahead and go over to part 2 after watching this one. That I'll have uploaded in a minute. But I'm going to stop recording right now.